Hello, loyal patrons of this channel. Jake is dying today, so hopefully we can hopefully he's still breathing by the time we're done with this. That's what I gotta say
That's
today.
the one hope.
Um,
That's the one hope.
yeah, how you feeling after week 9?
Um, Terrible, terrible because the Bills lost and it's all my fault. I feel terrible because of that.
Yeah, I
Uh,
know, I know. I don't know what to say.
yeah. But overall, it was kind of an unpredictable week, I'd say. But we did predict it, so I guess it was a predictable week.
Oh yeah, yeah. There you go. Really thought provoking stuff you're putting forward there.
Oh yeah,
Um, I
definitely not a fever dream or anything going on right now.
let's let's just get into it. Let's start with Thursday night last week. The New York Jets went and played the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, Zach Wilson might not even be the best QB on his team. Uh Mike White and Josh Johnson really showed out in that game. In a loss, but still, they were putting up stat lines that Zach Wilson could only dream of so far. At this point in the season, having a positive touchdown interception ratio. Um, but yeah, the this I want to say that this game went how we thought it would. I didn't think it'd be as close or as high scoring though. But the Colts won. Colts aren't a bad team by any means, and I feel like they keep getting thrown into that category of being a bad team, because of how tough their schedule is. But now they're going to be in the back half of that schedule, playing some easier teams, to end the season. Have a shot to get the wild card. I don't know if winning the division is going to even be attainable now, seeing that the Titans can still hum, even without Derrick Henry.
Yeah, no. Why? I mean, we said last week that it's probably out of the question. Even more so after seeing
Hmm.
what the Titans just did the other day. Great job to the Colts. Yeah, they're gonna be interesting to watch for a wild card spot. This game really did go how I expected it to. I was just surprised the Colts were so willing to give up free yardage late in the game to the Jets when they were completely
Hmm.
running away from it with it and just. I mean, you got Robert Sala as, or sorry, I'm thinking of that backwards. Shouldn't say that. But I just don't understand. I still don't understand the logic of just being like, yeah, just let him keep picking up first downs and scoring touchdowns and like making
Yeah.
this look really close because it wasn't a close game at all.
Hmm.
Good job to the Colts doing their job. The next game on the slate that we discussed and I got right: Las Vegas Raiders at New York Giants.
Yeah, this game, I said going into it when I picked it, we picked the opposing teams in this. You took the Giants, I took the Raiders, and it was kind of just coin toss of how is this team going to react to the Henry Ruggs news. And I think that's the biggest factor in this loss. The Raiders just didn't look like their head was in the game, which I mean, I don't blame them at all for not really being in that frame of mind to play a football game. Uh, but the Giants just, even with the lack of talent that they had, and Kadarius Toney having his worst game since he's kind of come onto the scene. But I think this is his first game back since the Dallas game where he just like went out there and balled. Uh, yeah, they're doing a lot with a little, which is very surprising. Like even in the games that they're losing, they're keeping it close, and they're doing it like purely with Daniel Jones, which I'm inclined to give Daniel Jones some more credit because I feel like I've been crapping on him a decent amount this season, but he has been shouldering the load with like no one out there to help him besides John Ross and Devontae Booker, who had a great game last week before he got hurt in the end. But Saquon should be back after that, so they don't have to worry about bringing in another guy at running back. But yeah, Daniel Jones, yeah, looking all right, man. You might be able to keep your job.
Raiders had an excuse to lose this week, so it's fine from their perspective that they lost. I actually think they played a little better than I was expecting them to. But on the opposite side of the ball, the Giants also played better than I thought they would. Xavier McKinney, great game. Um, Atlanta at New Orleans.
Yeah. You took did you take Nolans in this one?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, yeah, you did. Yeah. I saw this coming. I saw this coming. Atlanta is the epitome of incompetency. But when Trevor Simeon's lining up at QB on the other side, I think a little PEMDAS there, it all cancels out in the end. It's just a level playing field. Uh, the Falcons took advantage of the Saints having the worst QB on their roster starting that game. If I'm the Saints, I'm not starting Trevor Simeon for another game. I said this last week. You either go with Taysom or Ian Book there if Jameis isn't there. I understand Trevor Simeon hot hand. He ended up winning the game last week for them. You don't ride his hot hand though, because it's gonna get cold quick, and it did. Took advantage of that. It was really close in the end. Atlanta just loves choking away leads. But this time they came out on top with it. They were able to score in the end and get me an upset win on the week. So I love Atlanta for that. And yeah, please do not have Trevor Simeon start another game, and not just for the Saints, in the NFL, please.
I hope I hope that we can continue having Atlanta be at least decent. It's more fun when you don't really know what's going on in the NFC South. It's so much better when there's just like a lack of any sort of continuity. I like that, but I don't know. This game just felt a little strange to me. I didn't see a ton of it, but I don't know if I can believe in Atlanta yet, but I also still, from the start of the season, don't know if I've been able to believe in New Orleans either. So it's just a mess all over the place. Props to Atlanta for getting the win this week, but yeah, it just still feels weird. I'm really even more up and down on Atlanta than New Orleans. I'm really surprised that
Hmm.
Atlanta was able to go to New Orleans and win. So yeah, Buffalo at Jacksonville.
Yeah. Picked the Bills to win this one. They lost. Bills' only losses this season come from when I picked them or when you locked them to win. So, that's great. That's great.
Gonna start
Uh
locking them every week.
yeah, please don't.
I'm going
Um,
to.
yeah, okay. Uh the Jags just outclassed the Bills in that game. Just they played a better football game than the Bills did. Really sloppy football from them. Uh Poor offensive line play, receivers not looking as explosive, and dropping balls that should be caught. Uh, the defenses for both teams look great. I mean, Josh Allen looked great, but not Josh Allen. Josh Allen looked great. On the Jags, the defender, AFC Defense Player of the Week. He looked stellar. The Jags defense looked great. Yeah, they capitalized on mistakes that the Bills made in the way that they know how, which isn't like to the max because it's the Jags, but they capitalized enough to win the game. So I'm not gonna hate on them for that. Like Urban Meyer getting his second win of his NFL career, and it's against like an MVP favorite and this team that going into that week was favored to win the Super Bowl. Uh it seemed like it was the perfect storm for the Bills to just lose that game. Even when I was looking at stuff going into that, I'm like, why is Josh Allen the MVP favorite? He hasn't looked too good. Why are the Bills favored to win the Super Bowl? They haven't looked too good. And then they go into Jacksonville and lose. Like, it was the perfect storm for this. And it all accumulated in me picking them to win.
Well, I think the real note for the Bills, the one thing that I'll note for the Bills, one thing I'll note for the Bills. The only games we've lost have been games where Isaiah McKenzie returns a kickoff well. Those are the only games we've
Mhm.
lost. So just keep that in mind. But
Time to bring in Marquez Stevenson, is what you're saying.
yeah. So so what I think we really need to point out here is even though it wasn't on here and this was far too long ago, my favorite player in that draft class coming out, 2018 was Josh Allen. And finally the Bills get to play against the other Josh Allen. And boy, did he wreak havoc. And honestly, if there's one thing that I can like laugh at the Bills for and like not actually be upset by is when I have the opportunity to like basically look at them and say, I told you so. I know he got taken one pick before our pick, but let's just compare what that guy did on Sunday to what Ed Oliver has done in, and let me also say this, what Ed Oliver has done in, big games for the Bills, because yeah, if you want to say like the few times he's made a play in like,
He's looked solid this season. This has been the best season of his career so far.
yeah, has he looked like the guy we went
No,
against
he
on Sunday?
but that's what's the guy drafted before the first pick is supposed to be better than the second pick, who's better than the third, who's better than the fourth, who's better than the fifth, who's better than the sixth, who's better than the seventh. So by that logic, yeah, of course Josh Allen's supposed to be better than him. He got drafted before him. He's supposed to be better than him.
Exponentially. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
We'll see.
I
We'll
didn't
see.
graph the chart. I was just saying, Ed Oliver's looked good. He hasn't looked bad.
We'll see where the Bills fall next week. Awesome job, Jags
Where
defense.
they fall. Where they fall.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome job, Jags defense. On the other hand, Jags offense, maybe still a little bit of some fine tuning to do, because you've still only got 2 wins on the year.
Loved me some CJ Beathard getting into that game though.
Cleveland.
Always good. It's always good when I can have people I'm watching the game with ask, "Who's the backup QB on that team?" and we go, "CJ Beathard."
Cleveland at Cincinnati.
Yeah, picked Cincy to win this one. Really wrong. Browns just smoked them in the
No.
Battle of Ohio.
No,
Yeah,
they
they
didn't.
smoked them.
No,
They
they
smoked them. They
They
smoked
didn't.
them.
They did
smoked
not.
them. They smoked them.
They did not.
They
If you-
smoked them. In my mind, they smoked
You
them.
open the game with what was the final score? 41-17?
Uh, uh, if I keep doing this long enough, it can buy me more time. It was 41-16. They smoked them.
16. Okay.
They smoked them.
Slightly worse than I thought. Give him a 14-point swing.
No,
Yeah,
football doesn't work that way.
I know it doesn't, but that 100-yard pick six is not going to happen a second time these teams play. And I feel like that changes how the rest of the game goes.
Hey.
That was the opening drive. I picked Cleveland, and I think they still beat him by a little too much for just what I think. Although
no.
Donovan Peoples-Jones finally gets to have his coming out party now that Odell guy is out of the building, and we can actually enjoy this young man who I think is going to be a very good player.
Yeah, get rid of OBJ, bring in DPJ. But I mean, the one I knew a pick six was going to happen in this game. You know how I knew?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it would be 100 yards. Deltha O'Neal highlight I sent you.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen because of that. But yeah,
our
Cleveland,
viewership actually rises every time you mention Deltha O'Neal.
yeah, we just gained 10 subscribers right there. But Cleveland wins this game by a lot. They smoked Cincinnati. I still don't. I'm not convinced of it. Like, I'm gonna give you a little preview of our.
No, you don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, maybe I might have something to say about Cleveland in our predictions for
Don't
week
do
10.
it.
So if you want to check out that video, it should be up right now by the time you're looking. If not, it's gonna be up tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. We know they're watching this right at release.
Yeah.
Cleveland and Cincinnati. I think I basically said what I needed to, minus maybe the fact that Denzel Ward, good job balling. I'm excited to see this Browns team hopefully actually finally get to the point where I think they're meshing well together. And somehow the AFC has put itself together in such a ragtag mess of a way that they may still have a chance to be a fairly high seed in the AFC. I mean, it's not completely out of the question, even though they've lost a decent chunk of games already.
Yeah, when the Steelers have the same record as the Bills, something wrong is happening.
New England at Carolina.
Yeah, the New England pulled it off. Mac Jones is getting that reputation of following the Patriot way, trying to twist some ankles, play dirty. You go to New England, coming out a different demon. But I mean, they took care of business. Game went how I thought it would go. Sam Darnold being out though, I think it might help the Panthers win football games. PJ Walker gives them an element that Sam Darnold really doesn't.
Listen, you're talking about the best rushing quarterback for the first 3 weeks of this NFL season. Don't you dare say
Uh-huh.
that he has any different elements than PJ Walker.
And through the first, what, 3 weeks of the season, everyone was saying the Panthers were going to go to the Super Bowl too, so that's wild.
Wait, did that change?
A little bit. The same thing with the Broncos. Like it wasn't going to be a Super Bowl 50
Oh,
rematch.
we'll get to the Broncos. Stop
Yeah.
talking about the Broncos.
But I think PJ Walker will give this team a little bit more juice. I don't know if that will result in a win, but maybe the team will rally around him more than Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold might get dumped after this season. They might trade him somewhere else after this because Matt Rule in his press conferences does not sound like committed to Sam Darnold in the slightest. It's just, he's here. He's here. Well, we're playing football games with Sam Darnold. And with PJ Walker, he's like, yes, this team will rally around PJ Walker. We will win football games. It just it two completely different tones for those two quarterbacks.
I just love every time that there's a backup quarterback that steps into the game that you bring up the Kurt Warner line and just say, we will rally behind insert whoever random guy is here. We will rally behind Ben Kurt. Like what? No, we won't.
We will. No, but overall game went how it was supposed to go. I don't know how much analysis I could give New England. They're on the up and up. I mean, they keep winning games on the road. Not really winning that many games at home though. If they were winning games they're supposed to at home, they'd be kings of the AFC East right now, which is yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting nervous.
Yeah, breathing right down the Bills' neck. It is terrifying, but yeah, that Carolina and Tampa Bay, the two teams in the NFC South that are consistent. Like I think I know where they are, but even Carolina's like inching up there, of like, they might be good or bad, but it seems like they've solidified themselves. Like this is the bad, this is the good, and then the Falcons and the Saints are like, oh, what are these teams? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I like J.C. Jackson's still awesome.
Mm.
On the other side of the ball, Ramondre's getting going. Love to see that. And Mac Jones, very intelligent play. I don't think he meant to twist Brian Burns' ankle. I think he just meant to hold him because holding's actually legal when there's a fumble, which I don't think most people know. They don't throw a holding flag when there's a fumble on the ground. So if you lose the ball and there's a guy that can potentially grab it and you could stop him from getting the ball, it makes sense to do that. So that's a good job by him. I don't think he was trying to hurt him though.
Well,
Because he just
Mac
wants
needs.
his cookies at the end of the night. So
Yeah, I was gonna say Mac needs to realize how much he weighs because that is just injuring someone. As soon as he decided to do that, it's like Mac, you weigh 500 pounds, bro. You're gonna snap this dude's ankle.
yeah, no, he wasn't doing it on purpose. This was my lock, so getting kind of close.
Yeah, that's whatever.
Yeah, no, and I feel like that's probably all I got on that. That game kind of went how I thought it would.
Mm.
Denver at Dallas.
We both saw this game happen in the way it did, so I'm really proud that we came out last week, talked about this one. We're very confident in Denver winning. No,
Well, well, I don't, not you necessarily. Anytime I have said anything with extreme confidence, it's been completely wrong. It's like, what am I most convinced by? And it's like, yes, this is what I'm most convinced by.
yeah, this game, when it first started or when it was beginning to start, news got released that the Saints called for Teddy Bridgewater from the Broncos, and they're like, "No, we're keeping him." But they traded Von Miller, so it's like, "Oh, you're rebuilding, but you also think you can still contend, which is why you'd keep Teddy." And I'm thinking that's stupid. Like the Bronco, especially during this game, but like the Broncos aren't gonna win anything, and then they win this game. Uh, and I mean, it was all around team effort. Which is, I mean, I blame it on Dallas' stupid helmets that they wore. That those were ugly. Never do that ever again. Like, if they get like when you can wear new helmets and they can wear like the throwback white ones, maybe do it with that. It would look a little bit better. This just looked terrible. It was like, oh, we got 3 colors of electrical tape. Let's just whoop, whoop, whoop. All right, these boys are ready to play. Uh, but besides that, Dak wasn't on top of his game. Or yeah, he played, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
because I don't know why I was Cooper Rush got in late, I think, which is why I was thinking about that because
You're
I was a
sick.
bit
It's
high on.
fine. You're sick. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
hallucinating.
yeah. Once I saw Dallas was wearing that, and I actually saw what it looked like, I was like, "Oh, geez. I guess I should have known. Guess I should have known that this team had no chance of winning on Sunday." So, I mean, that was the real reason I should have been able to point out last Sunday is that Dallas literally came out dressing like idiots. That's a good reason to lose. Also, I actually didn't know Dak was playing. If I knew Dak was playing, then maybe I wouldn't have been so confident about Dallas because I was just making the assumption that they would like let him ride it out and not be hurt. Seeing Dallas put 16 points on the board without actually going in and analyzing the game, I would say that that means that Dak was still fairly injured and that slowed down this offense. But on the other hand, I don't see much of an excuse for them allowing the Broncos to put up 30 points on them. I think that's pretty embarrassing. And this was kind of an all over L for the Cowboys. Meanwhile, on the Broncos side, nice job going and getting a win. I'm
Hmm.
not sure that I believe that you're going to keep it up though. So we'll see where that can go from here.
Yeah, not riding too high on the Broncos, but way to go.
Minnesota at Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean Minnesota is bound to keep every game close. It's the no game this year has been guaranteed, but the one thing you can guarantee every week is that Minnesota will play to keep the game close. Uh, Not to win, not to lose, to keep it close. Minnesota's playing for a tie every week, basically.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh. I
but yeah, they kept it close with Baltimore. Possession got changed in OT twice, which is wild. That like when that happens, I'm thinking, oh, this is gonna be a tie. Um, but it didn't. Kirk Cousins was slinging it because he had to keep the game close. If they were playing against like a bad team, he would have thrown for like 150 yards. But this game, he was slinging it all over the field. So I'll give my props to Kirk Cousins when he plays against good teams, and then I'll like withhold any like congratulatory statements for him when he plays bad teams because I know he's just going to play bad.
yeah, I saw the 14-0 lead and I was like, "No way." It's like
We're gonna
that's
blow a team out.
that's not how this is supposed to go. We'll see where this goes. And I'm like, "Yep, yep. Up, tied. Oh, Baltimore has the lead. Okay, Baltimore's going to win. Minnesota tied it back up. Huh?" and then okay, Baltimore still won anyways in the end. I don't think we learned anything from this. I
Nope.
mean, Lamar better chances to win the MVP? Like,
Oh yeah, that I'd say that's the only takeaway. Lamar's odds of winning the MVP went up. That's the only thing. But it's like every game that the Vikings play in, you're guaranteed to learn nothing.
just
You're guaranteed to learn nothing.
just carry the team, Lamar. Carry the team. Houston at Miami. I can't wait to hear what you have to tell me about this.
I don't have much to say in this. Like this game, I love that Tyrod is back and he's starting now. I love that. But as soon as I saw that Jacoby Brissett was playing, I'm like, Dolphins definitely winning this one. They don't have Tua. Um, but it's just an ugly game. It's like you watch this game if you hate yourself. And I hate myself. So this is one of the games I watched in the recaps on YouTube. And I was like, yeah, let me see what's going on here. Gross. Gross. It was really gross. Tyrod played all right. He threw for like 250 yards or something like that. Brandon Cooks was getting more involved, but yeah, Dolphins still look not good. They beat a team that is worse than them. Yeah.
The only things I have to say about this is I'm upset since I picked Houston that they couldn't pull off the upset to make my positive in my upsets this week. And the other thing that I'm not even upset about, just literally need to laugh about, is the fact that at the Jaguars stadium, they had the red zone channel on and two scoreboards in the stadium. And I legitimately did not know this game was going on. They were showing clips from every single game in the NFL, and it was like switching all over all the time. I did not know this game was happening until it was over. I legit forgot about it, and they did not show it on the Red Zone channel, so I just didn't know it was happening. So I literally have no clue what went on. But frankly, when even after the game, you're talking about what a combined records of what 3-15. I don't know how much it really matters. So, yeah, good job, Miami.
Mhm.
You won the battle of the basement.
Yep. You're
Chargers.
giving Philly a worse pick.
Yep. Chargers at Eagles.
Yeah, Philly put up a fight in this one. They are going to their like weird backfield of running backs now because Miles Sanders isn't there. So you got Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott and Jordan Howard. Uh, it's just a weird combo of guys, and it seems like Nick Sirianni's just closing his eyes and throwing a dart at who's going to get used most that week. Uh, being one of the owners of those of Boston Scott in fantasy, it's like, oh, I hope they use Boston Scott a decent amount. No, he got 5 carries. Jordan Howard got 20. Why are they running the ball now that Miles Sanders is hurt? Doesn't make any sense. But I like that they are. It's good for the team that they're running the ball, more frequently, and that Devontae Smith is now like getting involved in game plans and everything. I like what the Eagles are doing on offense. That being said, Brandon Staley, way to bounce back. Uh, he, yeah, he needed a bounce back win here. He got it. It was a close one though, so I'm not gonna give too much credit to him. I shouldn't give him credit at all, or the Chargers credit at all. I'm gonna give more credit to the Eagles in this one because they kept a game that I thought was gonna be a blowout really close.
Yeah. No, I didn't think this one was gonna be a blowout. It's a West Coast team traveling to the East Coast. I thought it would be a hard matchup for them, but they still came out on top. And really, just from catching really, really late in the game, what the Chargers did. Man, they're still playing probably more aggressive than I would play. But it's working out for them, and I have to give them their coach credit for that because it's getting them wins, but also the positions he's in to be aggressive. You have that guy at QB. I guess it doesn't. You don't hate the option of going for it when he's still playing about as well as he has been in you know recent games and since he came into the league.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay at Kansas City.
Besides the team that won and the team that lost, this game went about how I expected it to. And I know we've been saying that a lot for these games this week, and the games have been unexpected, but I didn't have the winner and the loser right. But like the idea of the score and how the game was played, yeah, this game went how I thought it would. Just like a slugfest of teams just like, yeah, we're losing because we have Jordan Love at QB. And Patrick Mahomes, like, yeah, we're losing because like all our good luck is caught up to us now, and it was just a bunch of bad luck with our offensive drives and everything just stalling. Uh yeah, good on Jordan Love. He had an all right first career start. I think if he wasn't having I know for a fact that if he didn't have like those rookie hiccups that you're going to have like your first start or even just beginning your career. Like that one interception he threw away from winning the game, I think. Uh, but then again, that's saying a lot because then you to score if you don't throw that pick. Uh, yeah, Jordan Love played an all right game. He looks like he can be the heir apparent to Aaron Rodgers. Like he doesn't look garbage, and I think that's the one thing everyone was fearing of is like he cannot be terrible. We're going to be waiting like 2 years, maybe 3 years for him to start. He cannot be terrible in this game, and he wasn't.
I don't know if I have much to say about Jordan Love that you didn't say. So I guess I'll leave that at what you said. Can we just quickly mention the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs played like the Minnesota Vikings against the Dallas Cowboys the other night. They literally played that game not to lose until right at the very end. Then they still went back to some Chiefs stuff to secure the win, really late in the game. But most of that game, well, what I saw was just like so conservative and anti-Chiefs, just norms that it just felt weird. But Kansas City did what they needed to do, and I think that was very important considering where their season could be headed otherwise if they weren't careful about it.
Hmm.
Especially because they knew the situation they were headed into. So, good job to Kansas City, but they basically did what they should have done.
Yeah.
Arizona at San Francisco. This was impressive.
Oh boy, yeah. Picked Arizona going on this one with the idea that D Hop and Kyler Murray were going to be playing in it. Like I knew in the back of my mind that Kyler Murray might not play, but I didn't think that D Hop wouldn't be in there. Both don't play. Colt McCoy show, and they really just took it to the Niners. I think out of all the teams like preseason, during the off season, all that predictions, I think the Niners are the one team we were off the most on. Which
No, well, I mean, I don't know. It depends how you state we. Um, I think
oh, you had the Vikings winning the Super Bowl. Never mind. Yeah, you're really wrong.
no,
Boo this man.
no,
Uh,
because that's like middle of the road team as opposed to top tier. This is actually like bottom tier team as opposed to top tier team. But the only other team that's kind of in the argument is Cincinnati, but Cincinnati's lost 2 in a row, so maybe not. Yeah, it's probably these guys right now. You're probably right.
yeah. Have not been playing good football, and I don't really know what to do to remedy that. Uh, I'd say just ride it out with Trey Lance. You're not doing anything by having Jimmy G out there. I don't think you're gonna make the playoffs. You might as well give Trey Lance experience.
Sure doesn't.
Unless their whole game plan is like ride this out with Jimmy G, so he can like just increase his value in a way. But I feel like the more games you have him play and the more games you lose, you're decreasing his value once you get to the offseason. You're looking for a team to trade him. I mean, teams are already going to lowball you on him because it's like, we know you're not going to keep him because you got Trey Lance. So why would we give up something valuable for him? But if they want to try to do this to increase his trade value for months away, go for it. I would just give Trey Lance the nod right now and ride out the rest of the season with him.
Yeah, it sure doesn't look like um I don't know. It doesn't look like San Francisco is about to randomly turn it around. I don't know. Something's wrong there, and it feels like all of the good things that we felt about the coaching in San Fran have actually somehow went to Arizona, where it feels like it's flipped on its head. It just feels
Mhm.
so weird how this season has gone, but Arizona is still the only team who hasn't had any sort of major hiccup. They've lost one game super close, and I mean, I wouldn't say that that's a bad thing to lose one game by that small of a margin against one of the other NFC Super Bowl contenders. So,
Mhm.
I mean, entirely props to Arizona. This is maybe one of the most impressive wins of the season from any team, just because they still really were like able to really dominate this game if you watched it, and it was without their two I mean, arguably like three or more of their most important players, being on the field consistently. So it's just wild that they're that hot right now. Tennessee at LAR.
Yeah, like I said, Titans are still humming even without Derrick Henry. Jeremy McNichols, AP, they're stepping up. They're playing well at running back. Tannehill's slinging it. AJ Brown, please keep getting him involved. Please, please, please. Best wide receiver in the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Um,
so keep getting
well,
him
I mean,
involved.
actually, I had this conversation with somebody else the other day, and I may have changed my answer for the moment, but I'll just keep that to myself.
All right. Uh, AJ Brown has a unique set of skills that give him the ability to be potentially the best wide receiver in the NFL. Now that he's going to be getting targets, I think he'll be able to flex those abilities and look like it. Even without Julio there too, or Julio playing at a top level. So I like it. I like it that Tennessee Titans could still be a rolling even without Derrick Henry because the play action don't need a good running back for play action to work. And I love hearing people say that. Love it, love it, love it. Derrick Henry not being there is going to hurt the play action. Uh, Play action still works.
You watched more of this game than I did, so I mean, just tell me if I'm completely wrong. But I really would like to see this game replayed. Where I think it's more likely than not this game takes place, and you don't have two Stafford inside his own like red zone, resulting interceptions. In other words,
Mm,
one goes for a pick six, one goes inside the 10-yard line. I don't think that happens more than if you play this game 100 times. I don't think that happens more than once. So
mhm.
I think that's an interesting wrinkle in all this. Besides that, like looking at the total points that the Titans put on the board, 14 coming from that. I mean, that boosts them up really quickly. I wonder how differently their offense would have been interpreted after the game had those two great plays not been made, and just how differently this game looks entirely. Obviously, you can't take it away from them. They won. The Titans won this game, and great job to them. But if these teams ever matched up again in the future, which the only option for that is the Super Bowl, um,
Mhm.
then I don't think the chances of it being that big of a gap I think are much lower than like I don't think it's likely that would happen again. But I do think it's important to note because I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities with how these two teams have played this year that they could meet up in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. This game from Tennessee was as much as I do want to give props to the running backs because they did all right. It was a defensive game from them. Defense forced decent amount of turnovers. Uh, Jerry Tillery really came on the scene, had a great game. Disruptor caused Stafford a lot of problems. Yeah, the defense is what won them this game. Got them those 14 points to put them up. If the defense doesn't get those two easy scores for them, I mean, you're probably looking at the game ending 16-14.
Yeah. And then final game of the week, the game I was most excited for because I knew I would just be screaming at my television the entire time I was watching it. And I can happily tell you, I was Chicago at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think everyone in America was kind of screaming at their TV watching this game. Uh, the refs
Mm,
were, they had some questionable calls during that game or questionable things that weren't called. Uh, Ben Roethlisberger is cocky after the game. It's like, bro, you like barely beat the Bears. Why? Why are you like this? Uh, and then Justin Fields after the game saying, "Well, if Ben gets rocked, he's getting that call. That happens to me. It's I don't get that call. It's like, yeah, but at the same time, Ben Roethlisberger doesn't have like 20-mile-an-hour speed. Uh, and is running outside the pocket. But I do agree with the sentiment. Bears tried to keep it close. I saw some stuff on Twitter where it's like, maybe the NFL is scripted, which made me just laugh. Because it did feel at times in this game where it's like, why is this happening? Uh, yeah, just some hair pulling plays, hair pulling decisions. Matt Nagy is really just that dude that is going to get fired.
he I don't think I've disagreed with somebody more in my life. I've tried to convince myself so much that Matt Nagy like knows what he's doing, and every time I watch a Bears game, I'm more convinced that like I hate every single thing about the offense he puts together. And not only that, but they're down 10 points with 6 minutes to go, and they have like a fourth and medium. I think it's a fourth and medium. I'm sorry if it's wrong, if it's a different distance that they have to go to try to pick up this first down. And they're down 10. there's like you're giving up the game if you punt here, especially with like how like inconsistent your offense has been moving the ball all night. It really hadn't been consistent up to that point, and they punt the ball away instead of going for it. And the football gods reward them by having the Steelers fumble and they pick it up and run it in for a touchdown. And I'm just sitting there like, you've got to be kidding me. These guys could not make a dumber decision in their life. But then I'm like, okay, well, I'm still rooting for Chicago, only because I picked Chicago in this game because I figured it could go either way. And as we saw at the end of the game, it did come down to the last play, which basically meant it could have went either way. But just a mess. Chicago didn't deserve to win the game. I don't really know. I don't know if I want to say Pittsburgh deserved to win the game, but I guess they deserved it more than Chicago did. But geez, neither of these teams. I mean, I was getting frustrated throughout watching this entire thing. But like I said, it was all the things I was expecting, and I enjoyed the game because it was two frustrating teams going against each other, so I could get mad at them equally.
Yeah, yeah. Both teams deserved a sinkhole to open up underneath the stadium. Just suck them in. That's what really was deserved. Not a win or a loss or a tie. Just a void.
Nope, I agree. Alrighty, tell me this. Did you get your lock of the week correct this week?
No, I didn't. My lock of the week was the Rams, and I did not get it right.
Jeez, I love always forgetting what your lock of the week is, just so that I can always be surprised when we get back here on Wednesday. So I did get my lock of the week correct because it was once again New England. Hasn't treated me too bad in locks because they keep getting these games where they're tight and then they win them. So I won. So that puts you at what record for locks?
5-3.
That's
sorry.
possible.
I was looking at my last week. I do 2 weeks. I'm at 5-4. Sorry,
Okay.
5-4.
I'm 5-4 as well in my locks.
Okay, well that's gonna be changed next week. You're gonna lose.
I hope so. Upsets this week. I was 2-3.
I was 2-1 or 1-2. Sorry, jeez, 1-2.
I am 19-17 on locks this season.
I am
sorry,
17
upsets.
I am 17-20 in my upsets.
Ooh. And finally, this week, pretty bad week for all the games. I felt like I was doing well going into Sunday Night Football, and then I got Sunday and Monday Night Football wrong, and I finished 7-7 this week.
I also finished 7-7.
So that leaves me at 86-50 for the year.
Yeah, I'm at 79-57.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Is there anything else that you would like to mention?
Get your flu shot.
Oh, okay. Thank you. You all set?
Yeah, I think we can cut this here.